Good morning and welcome to Come Charge With Us on Easter Sunday. So I am off to Devon to see my sister. Unfortunately, Sarah's working again today, such is the life of a nurse. So I decided to go down and see my sister for a couple of days over Easter. It's Easter Sunday, so I'm travelling down this morning and then coming back tomorrow afternoon. So it's a 250-mile journey, and the first stop that I want to make is going to be after around a couple of hours. So I have a couple of different options. There's a Hotwood Park services where there's 36 Teslas, I think, and 16 apple greens, and that's after 107 miles. It'll take a couple of hours to get there. Then there's Gloucester services, which is after 152 miles, and it's 2 hours 39 minutes away. And then there's the new Micklewood services that is 167 miles and 2 hours 50 minutes away, and that's got 20 Teslas and 16 apple greens. The Gloucester's only got 8 Teslas and they're open to all. So Micklewood would be better, but I feel like that's a little bit far away for me, both for my bladder and also because Jackson's going to need a drink. Because he just had his breakfast. It's quite early, it's just after 6:30 in the morning. So we'll set off and we'll make our first stop, and we'll have a bit of a break and charge the car. It won't really need much of a charge at that point if we stop at Hotwood, but obviously always be charging. And ordinarily that would be all we'd need really for a 250-mile journey, but I can't charge at my sister's house, so that means I'm going to want to charge again before I come off the motorway. But we'll chat a bit more about that and where I'm going to stop when we stop at our first place. 253 miles would get there with minus 13%. So yeah, got a charge, but we won't need much of a charge, apart from the fact we can't charge when we get there. So let's see how we get on. So we've just arrived at Hotwood Services, very easy journey. We're down at 38%, and if we didn't charge, we'd arrive at Moorbath with 24%, which is obviously not very good. There are lots of chargers here, they're all down here and all around the edges, and there's some apple greens as well, which is all very, very good. So I'm just going to hop out and plug in. Straightforward. It's another welcome break this, so it's kind of like the birch hanger. I'll just sit in. We'll see how we're doing. There we go. It's a nice warning. It's quite chilly today, so my consumption wasn't very good because the car was preheating and so on. But yeah, so what we'll do here is we'll charge up, and then as I alluded to before, we're actually going to have to charge again before we get to my sister's because I can't charge there. So there are two options near Taunton, just before I come off the M5. There's a Pogo charge which has 10 bays, and then there's an MFG which has 4 bays, and then in Taunton itself there's a grid serve that I think it has 6 bays or something, but it's quite a bit off the motorway. So I'm probably inclined to go to the Pogo charge just because there's more bays there, and they're all 79p. So yeah, it's all going to be kind of relatively pricey. So we're doing 144 kilowatts, even though I've got 41% of battery, which is pretty good. And it's quite a good thing about the LFP battery in these cars is it can charge quite quickly, even when you're at quite a high state of charge. So this was probably about right for me in terms of, you know, how far we've been driving for. 1 hour and 48 minutes. I'm ready for a wee. Jackson will need a drink. I think he's quite thirsty. So although the car could have got to Micklewood Services or Gloucester, I don't think that we would have been that happy going that far. The only problem is that because we're stopping a bit sooner, it just means then that obviously we're going to not be able to fill up with as many cheap Tesla electrons as we would have done if we had stopped later. So we're going to have to fill up with slightly more expensive 79p per kilowatt hour Pogo charge electrons or MFG electrons. One thing I did notice actually is that the Tesla prices have actually gone up. It used to be that between kind of 4 and 8 in the evening was Tesla peak time, when prices tended to be around 42, 43p, and then off peak was the rest of the time, and they were about 35, 36. But now they changed their peak timing, so it's kind of during the day is peak, and then during the night is off peak, pretty much. So so that means that you pay peak time prices more of the time, which is a bit of a bummer, but it's still cheaper than 79p. Right, so I'm going to give Jackson a drink and go into the services and have a wee. Okay, so in the time it's taken me to go in, have a wee, come back out again, I'm up to 85%, so that's charging very quickly. So what I just need to do now is quickly add in the Pogo charge. So as I get over 24%, like I said, I need to make sure that I've got enough to enough charge to get into my sister's and then back out again as well. So where's this charger? Ah, here we go, junction 24, and it's in here somewhere. There it is, Pogo charge station. Add that in, so then that I can then charge there before I get to my sister's. And what I need then is enough to get back up to the Tesla supercharger at Micklewood, just north of Bristol. So I'll figure that out when I get there, because now we're all ready to go. We're at 87%, so let's hit the road. Okay, so we've safely arrived at the Pogo charge at a slightly random location just off the M5. So we've got 36% remaining. So if I didn't charge now, I'd get to my sister's with 17%, and then I'd get to Micklewood UK northbound with minus 27%, which is obviously not enough. So essentially what we need to do here is add at least 27%, but probably more like kind of 37%, so that would take us up to around 70% in total. So I'll probably just plug in and then see how we go. I could do the wee, because it looks like there's some kind of services or something over there, but whether they're open or not is another matter. So let's go and see if we can get this to work. Touch to start. Select this plug. RFID. Cover the card reader. Okay. Start. See what happens. Waiting. 36%. I can hear clicking. So there's something there. We're going to have a look around there in a minute. Still not charged. Oh no, 48%. So that looks good. So this is this location. So there's 5 units and what's that? 1, 2, 3. I think it's 10 spaces. So yeah, it's not bad. It's just a bit of a detour off the motorway. They've got quite a lot of roundabouts and stuff to get through, but yeah, it's not bad really. Just I've never seen anyone be using this whenever I've checked on the Electroverse for availability, but yeah, I'm happy. Let's see how fast it's going. Oh, 158 kilowatts, that's pretty good. So all like preheated and everything, so I better get a move on because it's costing me a fortune. Right, let's see how we get on. Oh, it smells of cows. But it's got a toilet, that's all that matters. There's someone else to join me, which is nice. And yeah, charging pretty quickly. There were some toilets thought it might be shut, but it was fine. It just in there, which was great. It was a very quick turnaround, and we are currently showing that we'll get to the services tomorrow at 6%. So I'm just going to give it a little bit longer, and then we can be on our way. But yeah, it's been a pretty straightforward trip so far. Just show you a bit more of the site. It's very nice. Yeah, I quite like Pogo charge. It's just they're a bit expensive, but then everywhere's expensive. I figured that if I had stopped around Bristol, I could have probably charged up enough to kind of go in and back out again, but this kind of works. Yeah, just going to stop the charge shortly. I'm not going to record that because it's just a case of clicking continue trip and stopping the charge. I'm just going to wait until it's up to probably about 80%, and then we'll be on our way. But yeah, very easy journey down. A quick 15 minute stop at Hopwood, another 10 or 15 minute stop here. I need to stop both times anyway. I don't see how this would have been any quicker in a petrol car. And in fact, we would normally have stopped in the past. We'd have probably stopped at Hopwood or maybe services after for a bathroom break, and then stopped when we come off the M5 to Tiverton or around Taunton to fill up with petrol, so we had enough petrol to go back. So it's not really any different. So yeah, go and unplug and be on our way. I'll just quickly unplug, so select this plug, RFID, hold that down there, slightly confusing, and then there we go, 78%, £20. I think that stopped. Oh no, stop. Actually, so I'll quickly look at the stuff on here. So it's got a charge curve there, which is quite handy. It's not very accurate, but kind of handy, and it tells you how much money you're consuming. So yeah, stop. Yes, stop charging. There we go. We've arrived in Morbath. It's a beautiful day. Some sheep and some lambs over there. All very lovely. I just parked up in a little car park just around the corner from my sister's. So we can see that on the way back we're going to have 20% when we get to the supercharger, so that should be fine, although I suspect it'll be less than that by the time the car's started from cold and heated up and stuff. But yeah, very easy journey. 20 past 11, I think I left about 6:45, 27, something like that. So yeah, all very straightforward. But I suspect tomorrow is going to be a bit more difficult traffic wise because it's Easter Monday. But yep, see you tomorrow. Oh mate, what are you doing? Okay, so it's now Monday afternoon and it's time to head back. Predictably, there is quite a bit more traffic than there was on the way down, so it's going to take 2 hours 6 minutes to get back to Micklewood services and have our first charge. But yeah, the weather's been lovely. A bit of rain overnight this morning, but nice weather, so we've been able to go on a few nice walks and go for lunch at a pub and stuff. And yeah, just time to head off home now. So 2 hours 6 minutes to Micklewood, and then probably another 2.5 3 hours from there, I guess. See how it goes. So I think we've got no problem at all with battery. Just need to decide whether we have like a longer charge at Micklewood and have enough battery to get all the way home, or whether we do 2 shorter stops. But for now, let's get driving and get in all of this traffic that there is to get through. Look at that, lovely. Right, but plenty of charges, so that's not a problem. Wow, so 2.5 hours to do 90 miles. Welcome to Broken Britain. But yeah, I'm here at Micklewood Services. There are plenty of chargers around, plenty of Teslas as well. But yeah, I just need to plug in and get another 34%. So yeah, just hard going drive really. So yeah, I better go and plug in. I'm not going to record because there's lots of people around. So I'll be back in 2 seconds. Yeah, just to continue. So these are like new, these Teslas. So I think there's 20 of them, which is pretty decent, and like plenty of availability. What else do I want to say? So yeah, we've got to charge up a fair amount here to be able to get back. Yeah, so I arrived here with 27%. I was expecting to get here at 15%, but of course because we were going so slowly, that's why we like ended up with lots of spare expensive Pogo electrons, so I could have put a bit fewer in. But there you go. Now, I noticed actually that Pogo charge only had 2 bays available, which is interesting. Very heavy traffic, lots of people around, but the charging infrastructure doesn't seem too bad. Be interesting to have a quick look on here in terms of Tesla. So there's plenty the other side. I think there were plenty down in Bristol. That wasn't a problem around there. See if Gloucester's got any. Oh, even Gloucester's got some. So yeah, not a problem really on the charger front as you know, in terms of the Tesla world. I'll have to have a look at Grid 7, see how they're doing. But yeah, all good here. Bit of a not very nice looking services, but we'll go and have a look around and have a quick wee and give Jackson his pre-dinner medication. And just wait for this to charge. So 14 minutes before I can go on. I have no idea what I actually need to charge up to. 167 miles, so it'll probably be about like 85%, something like that. I'll probably just charge up to what I need here so I can get all the way back, and then my last stop can just be a quick kind of wee stop. Although I will have to feed Jackson, who's looking very tired after his exertions and walks. So yeah, kind of a little wander around. Okay, so I barely feel I've had time to get inside and have a wee and come back and have half a sandwich, and it's already time to go. Says I'm going to get there with 18% all the way home, but obviously I'm going to stop off before anyway, and I think it will be less than that. I think it's just being maybe fooled by how slow we were on the last trip. So yeah, 199.8 watt hours per mile. So that's like 5 miles per kilowatt hour. That's how slow we were going. I think it's worked out 37.5 miles an hour average. Well, not very good. So yeah, let's unplug and let's head on. So I don't think I'm going to get back without another stop. I need to feed Jackson anyway, so I'll probably just stop in an hour and a half or something and sign off this video. I'll see you then. Okay, so this is the kind of final stop on the way home. It's a bit later than anticipated. It's 7:20, so Jackson needs his tea, so I'm going to stop here. So I'm at I'm not at Trail Services, that's where I was going to go. I'm actually at Tamworth Services, and the reason why I stopped here was just simply because if you look at the weather, it's going to rain by the time I get to Trail Services, and I don't really want to be feeding Jackson in the rain, so I decided to stop here. So I guess, so it's all very straightforward, hour and 25 minutes, 88 miles done, so kind of same distance as the first leg, but took an hour less. I'm going to get home with 17%, so that's all good. So I guess the topic of this video was inadequate infrastructure. So has the infrastructure been inadequate? Well, no. It's been absolutely fine from a charging perspective, loads of chargers where I stopped. However, can the charging infrastructure still be inadequate? Well, yeah, it can. If you just turn up and stop at a random services, it can definitely be inadequate. Tamworth is a case in point. If you stopped here, you've got that one lonely 50 kilowatt grid serve. But, I don't know if you can see from here, over there's some fencing, and that's where they're planning to put in some new chargers at some point soon. It's been like that for ages. I guess what else is inadequate about the infrastructure? Well, the roads are inadequate because it took 2.5 hours to drive 90 miles, which is rubbish. But from a charging perspective, can you drive from Yorkshire to Devon on Bank Holiday Monday and get a charge and everything be fine? Yes, you can. It was very easy, really. In fact, in this car, it tends to charge quicker than I actually want to stop for. Even with not being able to charge at my sister's, it was still kind of very easy to do what I needed to do. So yeah, I'm going to feed little Jackson. He's very tired after all of his running around on the walks. He's 15, so doing a kind of hour and a half walk yesterday, I think, kind of wiped him out a bit. So I'm going to give him a bit of a recharge with some food, which I'm sure he'll be very happy about. And then we've only got an hour or so, well, maybe a bit longer than an hour, not quite sure. What time are we getting home? 20:53. So yeah, an hour and a half, and then we'll be back. So looking forward to seeing you on the next adventure. Hopefully Sarah will be with us that time. And see you soon. Bye.